What's up guys, again Scorch here. Today for you I have another Unturned modding tutorial video thing and whatnot. We're going to be doing a melee weapon on this one. So what we're going to need is Unity, so we're going to open up our Unity hub. I'm using this version. You can use any 2017 version or any 2018 version. The only difference between the 2017 and the 2018 is the 2018 just has a different Unity layout in here. There's nothing different in the aspect of actually modding. For those of you who are beginners, you will need this is my unturned root folder, bundles, sources, these two things. You're going to need both of these in here. Just drag and drop them into assets. Righty. Now we need a melee weapon model. I have a bunch of them here that I got from Sketchfab and whatnot. So, let's try the warrior axe. Okay. DAE textures. What do we got for textures? Perfect. One detail texture and one bump map texture. So we're going to open the DAE in Unity here, and that's kind of small, so we're going to go S and just make about that big. There we go, perfect. Then let's see if I can do this right. Like that. We should be able to go in texture mode, maybe. No? Okay, maybe we have to be in texture mode and then drag it on. No, that don't work either. Great. How do I do this? X. Well, that's great. One of these open. That one. Now does this work? That does not work. Okay, so I don't know how to put textures on this stuff, but we're just going to go export OBJ. Same file, just OBJ format. So, here we have our DAE that we started with, and then here is our resized OBJ file. We don't need the DAE anymore. And, since this is only using one texture, we don't need the material thing. Close out of Blender. So now we're going to go imports. We're just going to put this in here under melee weapons. Create folder. This one is called warrior axe. You can put underscores in there if you want. Doesn't really matter. This is my imports. So we need that. We need that. And we need that. Then we're just going to throw that in there. Hit the little arrow thing because the default's actually a mesh. If we go over to inspector, it's got mesh render, mesh filter, stuff like that. This one's just a dummy node that the mesh is placed into. We're just going to drag that over there. Go over here to normal map, hit apply. Go into our materials folder, over to here. Then go back up there and drag that into our normal map spot. That will give it a bump map texture and yada yada yada, stuff like that. So that'll be what the X will look like. Pretty cool. So we can delete that. So now we need in our completed folder warrior axe. Then we need an axe. So core master bundle, items, melee, and we're just gonna do X fire. We don't need that, but we do need all of these. Press and hold Control to copy and paste. Minimize all that stuff. If you don't have Core Master Bundle, that means if you go to your Unturned root directory, you can go to Bundles and Sources, take these two projects and drag and drop them into here. Just under Assets, drop them in. Project will give you Editor, and Example Assets will give you Core Master Bundle and Game and Resources. And CG Includes. We'll give you all that stuff. Okay, so first things first, drag that in there. Make sure item is selected. Set position to 0 just to make it easier. You can double click on this at any point and it'll recenter it. Right click, press and hold it is to look and aim, and just from playing Unturned I know that that is the head of the axe, or the blade part. So we need our axe to be imported over this mesh so we can drag and drop it right into this slot. So if we go back down here to this one and go over here, we need that default. That default will not drag in. That one will. That is more of a render, and that is the physical mesh. So we can drag that in, and would you look at that, that's the perfect orientation. Scale's a bit off. So what we can do from that point is come back up here, drag another one of these in. So that's 0, 0, 0 to get the scale. And then we can go to this, scale it down. And it could usually rotate it a little bit. Rotate it until the handle's straight. But other than that, it's about, nope. Yep, there we go. One, two, run 5 all across the board. Yeah, that looks about right. We just gotta rotate it a little bit. So, sadly enough, we can't rotate that in here because that messes everything up and it won't be rotated in game. We have to do that with the model itself. So we're gonna close out of that. We're gonna reopen this. Yes, you do have to reopen it and re-import it. And we're going to push either 1, 3, 7, or 9 on a number pad. Then we're going to push 5 to make it isolated and not yada yada, whatever. Then we're going to push R. And snap is personal control. We're going to get it kind of sort of where we want it. So about -17-ish. You can also type in -17 and hit enter, and that'll rotate it for us. We can also right click on this and go just kind of move this spot kind of towards the middle of the X. I realize it's kind of where it was before, so it's pretty close. We're not gonna worry about that. File, export, OBJ, double click, close out of that. We don't need the material. Go back down here, Warrior X, right click, not open, right click, delete, delete, folder, drag and drop that back in, go back up here to item, missing mesh, drag and drop that back in, and then bam, we have our rotation set correctly. From this point, actually, what do we want with that? We want Okay, so we want origin point set to halfway up the X and just the front part of the handle. So we are actually going to open this back up and move it. Import WJ model 1.5. Halfway up the X. I'm going to move a little bit further out. Export OJ. Now we can for sure close out of that. Delete that again. Delete this again. Drop that in. Select that. Drag that. There you go. That's better. Much better. So then what I like to do is just to double check, make sure that everything's working right. I'm not sure if the size thing gets messed up or what, but for me I have to copy that, reset all of these to 1, then click on this and do scale factor, paste that, and then bam. I have to scale factor on this rather than in here because otherwise it doesn't apply the scale for some reason. I don't know if I have to click apply and then it applies it, or I don't know, something. And since mesh is in here, the box collider, first things first, you gotta make sure that the material says none, otherwise click on it, and that will take you to your physics tab over here. Usually it'll be metal static, or sometimes you'll see cloth static, stuff like that, depending on what you're editing. But you'll have to redrag that stuff in to the physics material. This does not have any, so we can actually go remove component and then add component, box collider, bam, automatically set. However, if we go down here, that one's higher than 0.2, that one's higher than 0.2, this one is not, so we have to set that at 0.2. For whatever reason, Unturned will not recognize anything with a box collider of less than 0.2. So that's all good. Then we click that, and item. That recognizes that, or that tells the game to load in this mesh. We can recalculate light material, or yeah, light map scale. Material, that we can find in here. This, drag and drop that into there. Now it has our texture. That won't change anything in that at all. You can redo it if you want. Don't matter. Here, now we need a camera. Set that to orthographic, and just drag this down to, I don't know, something. It all depends on which way you want your axe to be rotated or something. I want it to be vertical like this, same as the other one. So this is going to be about 0.85, looks pretty good. So that'll be in our DAT file, you gotta remember that. Or just leave the camera on right up until we're ready to bundle it, and then delete it at the end. Same thing with the icon, the only difference is these ones are rotated weird for whatever reason. This is when you click on it, or no, this is when you hover over it in your inventory. This is what pops up in that bigger box. So this can be rotated a little bit to give it more detail and stuff. I like it the way this one is, so we are going to, first things first, go like this. See that white line? Yeah, that has to be above your part. Just somewhere, because if it's halfway through, you're going to see half of it. If it's all the way through, you're going to see none of it. So you got to make sure that it's above it. So if you don't see anything in here, just move that, and that'll probably fix it, because most likely that white line is just below your part. Object part thing, I don't know, something. But we can go copy component for transform, go over here, and paste component values. That's going to give this the exact same effect as icon 1. Stat tracker, not sure what this does, but we'll put that right there. The looks like a good spot. Zoom in, just make sure it's above that just a little bit. Effect, this is where the stuff happens. So we're gonna put that about there, and that's in the center of the blade roughly. So we are good now. So icon 0.85, remember that, remove component, because if you have a camera in here, and then when we go back up here to warrior axe, delete that, drag and drop that down in, that's going to be grayed out, and it's going to have an error when you load it in, a workshop error. So remove that, bam, magical. We don't have to remove it in here because I don't mind. Okay, so these are linked. So if we were to redrag this one into here, that one and that one would no longer be linked. It'd be that one and the second one that we just dragged in. So if we deleted the camera in here, the camera on here would still be here. That I feel like I'm talking too fast. Anywho, use. This is just the sound that plays when you use the axe. So that uses the same sound as the fire axe. Animations, we're not going to mess with those. That requires lots of work in Blender, which from what you've seen, I really don't know how to use. Okay, so from here we can go melee, warrior axe, bundle tool. You can find this. It'll be under unturned bundle tool. It'll bring it up in a little window like this. Right, you just drag it up in there. Grab bundle warrior axe. I'm gonna just put it on my desktop. Wait for that to get done. Then you minimize that. I just realized that was not maximized this entire time. So I actually have a few different folders. So I'm gonna take both of these, drag those down into here. Take all three of these, copy that, put that in with unturned imports, Fallen Vegas, items, melee, new folder, warrior X, bam, all that stuff. Uploads. Warrior X, that's where that goes. Now we need a directory, bundles, items, melee, axe fire. Take both of these. Don't just drag them in there, it'll move it if they're on the same drive. Press mode control to copy. We don't need that anymore. Rename this to whatever this is named to. There we go. Change this. We're going to change this to... This doesn't really matter. It matters for purpose of uniqueness on the item and completeness of the overall item. If you don't change this just to test to make sure it works, it's fine. It'll just have whatever's in here. Description. Alright, and say I want that red. Red is the color of mythical, or we can just do /color equals red. And at the end we have to do that, period. There you go. That'll be red now. Warriors will be labeled red. There we go. Alright, so this is the stuff. Delete the GUID. If it doesn't have rarity in here, you can just add that in. Rarity. Well, I want this. Mythical. Sold. That'll be red. Slot, secondary, yep. ID, custom, 1, 5, 233 I think is the next one. I don't know which one did I just do. I think I just did a medical kit. 231, nope, the last one I did was a bed. 232, 233, perfect. Alright, sold. Size, this is, what do you want it to be in game, like how many slots you want to take up. So I want this to be a 2 by 3 square. This is 0.85, that's the size of your camera. This one was the same, so we're going to do that too. This is range, so this is how far away your axe can hit people. We're going to up that to a solid 3. Strength, this is the amount of force that the weapon applies to things. So we're going to up that up to, I'm going to put that at 2.5. Stamina, this is the stamina cost per heavy swing. Heavy attack thing, something, I don't know. We're going to put that at 10. It's fairly light, so. Player damage and stats and all that good stuff. We're going to set this at, looks pretty first, so 75. We're going to set that at 75. 75. I like to change this to 1, 1, 1.5, and 2. Because if you hit him in the leg, 1 times damage. Arm, 1 times damage. Spine, it's a little more sensitive, 1.5 times damage. Skull, that's really sensitive too. There you go, that's my reasoning.
Oh, well I figured you didn't have any left when I came on
Sorry about that. My mom walked in and she was talking on the phone. Barricade. Barricade damage, we'll do that at 100. Durability, I believe the lower you set this, the more durable the weapon is. So, we're gonna reduce that by a little bit. Repair, okay, so this is the different blueprints that you can have. Repair is how much it takes to, like when the weapon gets damaged, if you have durability turned on your server or whatever it is. This is how much it costs. Supplies, it's only one, takes only one thing to repair it. 67, that's scrap metal, the amount. We'll change that to 5, so it takes 5 scrap metal if this thing is completely destroyed. And then that is just the build ID for it. Tool. This is, just from looking at this, this is when you scrap it. So, takes a tool, supplies 1, it requires 15223, 15233. Yes. So it requires this item. It gives off metal scrap. It's a bit excessive. There you go. Gives off 5 scrap metal when you scrap it. We need that, and this next line, this asset bundle version 2, that is only if you're using 2017. If you're using 2018, you do not need that. It would be asset bundle version 3 if you're using 2018, but that's by default, so you don't have to put it in here. We have to put both of these in here. This one is if you're using the bundle tool as opposed to the master bundle tool. I'm not sure how to master bundle, so we're gonna do it with this. Right? Yes. Type melee, usable melee, slot secondary. If need be, we can always check some other things, like say, I'm trying to think of which melee weapons have what. Blowtorch. Blowtorch has got some different stuff on it. Repeated. This means that if you press and hold left click, or whichever button is the attack button, it'll constantly just repeat it over and over again. So like this right now, not the bullet torch, but the warrior axe. This doesn't have repeated on there, so you left click and you press and hold it, and it's gonna swing once, and then the animation is gonna stop. If you want that to continue, if you press and hold left click, put that in there. If you want to be able to hit things and repair them with your axe, for some reason, kind of low breaking, but you can put repair in there too, and it will repair whatever damage. So vehicle damage 10. This repair in here repairs vehicles by 10 damage per second. Same thing with structures and barricades, and possibly with objects too. I think maybe kind of sort of possibly. Let's see what other ones. Chainsaws probably got continuous. Yep, repeated. So that's in there. Oh, one thing to point out, blueprints 3, it always starts off blueprint _0, then the second blueprint is _1, third is _2. Not sure why it does that, but you can set the, wait a minute here. Okay, so strength, that's the amount of force that the weapon has. Weak, that's how much time it takes to do the weak attack. Strong, that's how much time it takes to do the strong attack. Sometimes it's predetermined based on just however long the animation takes if you don't have that in there. Or at least that's what I'm guessing. I'm not sure what this is, but we're looking here, see if there's anything new. Nope, not new. Okay, so I think that's it. Just repeated if you want it to be just repeatedly usable by holding left click. I can't think of any melee weapon that does that by default. That's like a swinging tool. And repair if you want it to be a medical item thingy. Medical for vehicles and barricades and whatnot. So 15 to 33 is that ID. Then we need to take this, copy warrior axe. I don't know why I close it out. I need to go in bundles, not level items, melee. Paste that in here. Warrior axe. Bam. Biggest thing, make sure the GUID is empty. We're just going to launch this without BattleEye, because I have a LAN server on here, and any server I join, actually it doesn't matter for single player, but for whatever reason, if you have Rocket plugins installed, which you need for LAN server if you're using any Rocket plugins, for whatever reason it will not let you stay in a BattleEye protected server for very long, because BattleEye doesn't like your unsupported modules, which are the Rocket modules, which you need in your game files in order to run the server. So it's a dilemma. I remember our ID was 15 to 33. For single player, it is either @give or /give. If you're doing vehicles, spawning those in, it's @ or /vehicle space ID. With the give and vehicle commands, you cannot set a quantity after it. Figured that out too. Unturned takes a while to load in, but it still beats GTA loading times. Actually, any game beats GTA loading times. GTA 5 I'm talking about. takes forever to load the game into story mode, and forever to load into online. Why that is, I don't know. It's not like you're connecting to one server that just has everybody on it at the same time. GTA 6, however, is or was rumored to we're gonna turn that down a bit. Play offline. Honestly, my brain died while I was doing that, so I hope I loaded into the right thing. Yep, don't mind the stuff. It's not there. Don't worry about it. Okay, so /give 15233. There we go. We have our X. Use the default swing. It's magical. It works. So, that's how you put a melee weapon into Unturned. If it doesn't work, make sure to go workshop error logs and it'll pop up in here. If you hit page up to reload your game files temporarily without reloading the game, it won't update this automatically. You gotta hit reload. So if we go back over to here, not over here. So remember, normal map, inspector, you gotta change it from default to normal map, otherwise it'll show up, this texture is not marked as a normal map, fix now. That'll do it for you. If you want something to be transparent, you have to go, that would have to be a new one. Don't choose transparent. That won't actually make it transparent. You have to choose fade. Opaque is just normal. If you want something to be emissive, check that box, and then just in that box, how we drag the normal map in, just drag whatever emissive color you want in. So say it's this, but these red things are emissive. You just have to edit this picture, isolate these using like Photoshop or something like that, and delete everything else, and just make either make everything black or make everything transparent except for this. And then you'd have to set this as probably a fade with an emission. Or wait, no. Scratch that, never mind. Okay, so re-import this. This is just all black or white or something with this red stuff still here. Nothing changes on that. Just drag and drop that into emission. You'll all be good. So there we go. We have a warrior axe in here now. Tried to make this tutorial as quick as possible. If anything's a little hard to understand or anything, I don't know. My info should be somewhere, possibly on my channel somewhere, or yeah. You don't have to save that either. That's just asking if you want to save the scene. But that'll be it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.